Yeah, it has been such a blessing for me to work with the Albert Baker Fund, because to me, I think the biggest joy, if I may say, is being able to witness all the transformation or the impact being done by the program, the ABF program in Africa. I mean, we have students like, for example, there is this young lady called Olivia Talemwa in Uganda. I remember her when I used to sell newspapers at the university. I remember when I was a student at the university, I used to run around in the morning, every morning, sliding newspapers under the doors of the professors, and they pay me at the end of the month. But every day, every morning, I used to bump into this girl, and she was also always running around. And one day I decided to stop and I asked her what she was doing, and she told me how she was an orphan, total orphan with no mother, no dad, and she had 3 siblings, and she had to take care of them. So she was the mother and father of her sibling, and she wasn't even very old. She was young, and she was selling vegetables to do that. And so I was touched, and I invited her to Christian Science, and she joined. So when ABF expanded to Uganda, she was among the people, the first beneficiaries, and she managed to graduate from a university because of the scholarship from ABF. Mm-hmm. And when she graduated, she got a job, and she was able to pay for school fees for all her siblings. And she didn't stop there, but she also went ahead and paid school fees for 7 kids of her neighbors. And right now she started up a women's savings scheme where they are trying to pull funds together and invest together and do bigger things. And right now, when I was coming, I called her for an update, and she told me that women's scheme has now reached a membership of 350 women. And so when I try to look at her, where she started from and where she is now, it's really so, fulfilling to see that big change. And then another person whom I always want to share about is Robert Muhunami from Nairobi. I remember Robert because we are in the same association, so I know him pretty well. So when we were planning to expand to Nairobi or to Kenya, we invited students from different churches in Kenya, from Nairobi area, but also from Western Kenya. And among the people who came to attend the workshop, the ABF workshop, was Robert. And I remember at the end of the workshop, we were giving out some compensation for transport to help students go back to their homes. And when we were driving from the workshop place back to my hotel, it was around, I think, 3 kilometers. I saw Robert on the road walking, and I asked the driver to stop because I knew him, to find out why he's walking when we actually paid them transport. So when we stopped and I asked Robert, he said, Lamech, I actually walked to come. And when I was leaving home, there was no food for lunch, and I know there is no food for dinner. So there is no point for me to use this money for transport when I know it could help the entire family to get dinner. So we encouraged Robert to come back, to come and access ABF scholarship. And he had not gone to school. He had stopped going to school for some years because he didn't have school fees. And even when we asked him to come for ABF scholarship, he wasn't so sure whether he could actually qualify because the grades which he stopped with going to school didn't qualify him to join college. So we advised him to maybe start with a certificate and which he did, and he finished it in 1 year, and he came back for a diploma, and he finished the diploma, and then he came back for a degree, and then after the degree he went for masters. And right now Robert is a lecturer in University of Nairobi, and he has helped to create a website for the First Church Nairobi, and he has done a lot of things for the church and his family and his communities. So, and there are many cases like this in almost every country. So that's why I say there is nothing which brings more joy to me than being able to witness all this transformation in people in Africa. Yeah.